Hello, this video is the start of Sun conjunction. So, as you know, Sun is like our soul, our personality, our vitality, ego, confidence, rules. Well, it's the significator for father in our chart, and our leaders, our bosses, politicians, government, royalty. Sun rules Leo, and it's the natural fifth house of the zodiac. So it's a very creative planet too. So we create children, we create art, we create like nice environments to live. So all of those things are to do with the sun. Sun, obviously, the fifth house of the natural zodiac. Sun also, because of Leo, rules the heart chakra. Heart chakra, the physical heart. I always think that Cancer is the emotional heart, and Leo is the physical. So it's about romance, love, and through which we actually create children. It's also entertainment. All those wonderful things are to do with Leo. Well, fifth house naturally as well. So and wherever sun sits in your chart is where you get the respect and you shine in your life. So if it's in your 11th house, you shine amongst your networks. If it's your say for example, fourth house, your mother shines. She's a formidable force. So that's how you see things. Sun is most uncomfortable in the 12th house because this 12th house is a natural house of moksha, and it's also a very, very secretive house. It's all about things that are really hidden. So that's probably where I'll see Sun the weakest, even though it's debilitated in the 7th house of natural zodiac, which is Libra. So in the 7th house, whether it's Libra or not, it's kind of like feels a little bit out of control because feels weak actually. So it's probably got less ego attached to it actually. That's how I would say. It's because the king, sun is the king, the leader, the boss. So therefore, like Libra, which is the 7th house of the natural zodiac, is how we interact with others. We just self-sacrifice in order to get on with other people, be harmonious. Whereas the sun, you know, the royalty, the king, the prime minister, the president, they don't want to be getting, you know, they don't necessarily care about getting on with other people. They just want to do the job, if you like. So therefore, it's most uncomfortable there. But to me, a 12th house sun, it has got quite a lot of things attached to it. That's how I've been taught, you know. So, and it gets directional strength, which means that he's got the most amount of focus in the 10th house of natural zodiac, which will be Capricorn. Now, because obviously it's the boss. Once, you know, a Capricorn is like institutions, it's the government, all that kind of stuff. So it naturally wants to shine. Now, this also, you will find people who have got sun in Capricorn, even if it's not the 10th house, they naturally want to shine. They're naturally bossy. They can't help it. That's just the way it is. So if amongst your friends you have got somebody who has that, even if it's in the 4th house, the 3rd house, the 1st house, whatever it is, it naturally is a little bit like they're bossy, you know, that's just the way it is. So now, obviously, Sun is friendly with the Moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Mercury, and very, very big enemies of Venus and Saturn. So those of you who have seen the videos of those conjunctions, you know, they're quite difficult. You probably experienced that in your life. And obviously the nodes don't like the sun and moon. So that's another thing. And that's when the eclipses occur, the lunar or solar eclipses, when they are with either Ketu or Rahu, north or south node of the moon. Now, there are other things that I wanted to tell you about, like obviously sun is exalted in Aries, which is the sign of me, myself, and I. That's it. King and I. And so it's exalted at 10 degrees there in Aries, debilitated at 10 degrees in Libra. I would probably say Sun does worse in Venus's signs. They're so difficult, and also Sun is difficult in Saturn signs too. If you have them, you realize that it's the nature of Sun is fiery. So therefore, whatever planet it's sitting with is going to be eclipse, is going to be agitated, because you know fully well that if you're in the heat of the day when the sun is out, or if you're trying to park your car when it's really sunny, it's very, very frustrating, very, very difficult. So that's how it feels, you know. So when you see in people's charts sun and moon situations, excuse me, well, sun with any planet, it's agitating that planet, even if they're not combust. And I would leave below all the kind of combustion degrees, etc., for you. But I mean, obviously, it is difficult being with them. Mercury is a planet that Mercury and Venus are fast moving planets, so they do move with the sun, and so often you see them in the chart quite close to the sun, whether it's in the same sign or a sign behind, sign in front, or sometimes even two signs. And so, but generally speaking, you know, sun agitates, so when it comes to the sun and the other planets, you want to see the degrees really, and the slower moving the planet is, the wider the sort of distance needs to be for it not to be combust. And obviously, if planets are retrograde in towards the sun, it's even more combustion going on there. So combustion is very difficult because what it does, it kind of burns away and purifies some of the indications of that planet. Excuse me, while a car's alarm has gone off. And the other things, so sun obviously gets directional strength in the 10th house. That's where it works quite well. And probably the most, I think sun is better actually because it's ego attached as well. Sun is sometimes better when it's in the chart is not overly, well, you will know people who have got like exalted sun. They can be a little bit like, well, you know, you know, they kind of like, they are so self-aware, you know, so aware of their needs, they can just completely overlook other people. And it's all about their comfort, it's all about what they want. So if you're in a group of friends, you have somebody who has got an exalted sun, boy, do you know about it, you all know about it. It's just so crazy. So yeah, so sun and moon, so sun being the indicator of the father, and we're going to discuss moon today, but it's obviously, you know, you want to look at all planets and just see how it's going, but with the moon, because obviously it's the most important thing, I'm just going to do an extra video in the middle here so you know, because I want to just introduce lunar phases too to this. Anyway, let's just start. Before I go, actually, I just wanted to say something else about the sun and moon thing, because if sun and moon are together conjunct in a sign, in the D9, not so much in the D1, D9, because that kind of confirms everything and is a sign of like how we are with other people in relationships. If you got sun and moon conjunction in your D9, you're very new to relationships. So really just be aware that you're learning about relationships. And so don't get yourself, you know, like, don't be hard on yourself. This is what I'm trying to say, you know, and it's possible that you are going to go through some challenges in relationships because you really need to know your mind in order to be in a relationship in a positive way. And that comes with time, because none of us come out with an instruction book knowing what to do with it. So don't be hard on yourself. Okay, on to next video. So moon is our significator of mother, emotions, feelings, happiness, how receptive we are, how how adaptable and flexible we are in our thoughts, in our minds. It's all of those things to do with security, stability, home environment, how the family that we grew up into. Our very early years of education is also seen through like fourth house or the mother, if you like. So this is all how the nurture and the nourishment we've received from the mother. Our mother, how our mother is, and how we're going to be a mother going forward. So these are all to do with the moon, how we see it. So we can see this person that's like has got sun and moon together is it's quite fragile. It's very much like I mean, obviously, this very much depends on things to do with, like, I mean, in the next video, I've done two actually. I did the video and then I just thought I didn't actually discuss these things. But we can work on this. You know, a moon is both these planets are fast moving. So when you do remedies for them, you get the results very quickly. So this person obviously feels a little bit like overlooked by dad growing up, maybe family. There were some issues. The child felt a little bit overlooked, and they didn't sort of feel as though they were nurtured enough by the family. And this could obviously be the case because the parents could have had some issues during this time. You know, I mean, you also want to look at the house that is fallen into, you know, because like 12th house could be like abandonment. They could have had some losses, expenses. There could have been like ill health, all kinds of things, some secrets, family secrets coming out. So it really is. So we have to really just have that real understanding and compassion for our family too. So it's very, very important to actually realize that this is obviously something, because our soul wanted to experience this. So it's down to us to experience it, learn from it, and with wisdom, just like think that we've dealt with that. So it's not something that you need to necessarily carry with you. But definitely you can see that this person probably felt quite undervalued growing up, feeling as though like, and maybe they were undervalued, overlooked by their father. Or so like imagine if you're a kid in a class and it's almost like your teacher never sees you. You put your hand up but you never get asked because you're not one of their like the favorite students of his or hers, you know. It could just be that because you're quite sensitive and you maybe took things to heart too much, didn't have the bounciness of your brother or your sister. So it could be that uncles and aunts are a little bit hesitant to show you love because you're not the child who actually demands love. You know, there are siblings who just like, as soon as they see like relatives, uncles, cousins, they're there, you know, demanding, you know, give me a hug, you know, and they put their arms around them and just like make sure they get a hug, and they demand that love. So you're a bit more shy, a bit more reserved, a bit more unsure about things, situations. So that is the reason why people read you like that. So remember that in life we just we get what we mirror. So if you are coming from that and always hesitant, scared and fearful, so that's what we are. Kind of people feel as though, oh, you know, she always gets me the wrong way, so I'm not gonna, you know, I don't know how she's going to be feeling today, so I'm gonna. So remember, that's how you are projecting. So you have to just like stop projecting more positivity, more love, and more receptivity, flexibility, in order to be able to demand that back. So, and that's how you get that. You get what you want in life by just projecting what you want. You receive that. You tell your partner what you want, you receive it. You know. So if people, if like for example, if you get taken out to the same, or you take the your partner, you know, on a date, you take your love interest always the same restaurant because you like it. You haven't really asked them. You just it's nice for the partner to just say to you, thank you for taking me there. However, should we try somewhere different next time? Just allow people to know. That's what I wanted to say. So it's very important to work on those sensitivity and become more receptive, see how you are attracting things. And we are, at the end of the day, we are just magnets. We attract like. So we come from lack, we attract lack. We always say that I can't have this, but you won't have this, so that's how manifestation works. We just allow yourself to receive, allow your heart chakra to be open and receive. So this is a big lesson for all of us, really. Anyway, and obviously don't forget that sun and moon situation. We all experience that once a month when we become for a couple of weeks of the month, we're always much more introverted and pondering and kind of problem solving internally, and it's a good thing to do. We don't always have to be external, because sometimes you see people on TV and you kind of think, oh, Beyonce must be like this, but they could possibly be quite boring in real life, because they're projecting their alter ego. It's not really who they are. So this is just don't be hard on yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Okay, so sun moon conjunctions. Actually, despite the fact that we're doing astrology like normal prashara astrology, I always look at this in terms of panchang, in terms of lunar phases, because we have 15 phases of Shukla, which is the moon is waxing and it's bright, and then we have the 15 days when the moon starts to wane until it becomes like a new moon and it's completely dark. So today we're talking about, obviously, moon being with the sun. It just means that moon is completely eclipsed by the sun, meaning that completely burnt and combust by the sun, so you can't see the moon. And therefore, when the sun sets, there is no evidence of any moon in the sky. And so the phase of the moon that's waxing is called Shukla, and Krishna is how we describe a waning moon of different sizes, if you like. Now, when the moon is with the sun, actually, let me just, whilst I'm doing this, see if I can actually. Okay, I just need to get the. Sorry, let's just, okay, here we are. Excuse this whilst I tidy up. Okay, I'm sure you can see this now. So basically, this is the new moon, and so moon, as it comes away from the sun and becomes more independent and seeks its own freedom, becomes what's called Shukla. And it keeps going, becomes brighter and brighter and brighter in the sky. So it's very, very visible in the sky until it becomes like a full moon. And then it starts to wane and becomes smaller. You can just see gradually going until it becomes new moon again. But it's still, these phases is called the Shukla, Krishna. Whereas on these, even these two will be like Shukla. So Shukla is waxing, and then Krishna is waning moon. So when we're talking about the new moon now, it could be this phase, but sometimes they're in the same sign, but because of degrees, they can be up to 12 degrees this way or that way. And that way, you will just see that if the moon has got higher degrees than the sun, so that means that the moon is actually Shukla, which is waxing. But if it's behind the sun in degrees, it means that it's waning. So let's go back, and I'm just going to show you on how it will look on a chart. So here we are. So you can see this is like a Shukla moon, because it's just ahead of the moon, the sun. So you can see 1 degree 28. If I was now to just go back a couple of hours, so you can see. There we are. So you can see that one is now Krishna. it's a waning moon. And so that's how you will see in the charts as well. Okay, so stop sharing. Okay, so when sun and moon are together, sun is obviously the father figure, moon is the mother figure. It just means that actually during your birth, there were some issues between the parents. It could be that the mum was feeling intensity from the dad. Maybe dad was unavailable, not emotionally available to the mother. Or it could be some abandonments, that you feel from parents, which is actually how your mother felt as well. And so there's this eclipse. So the father was ruling the roost, if you like, in a sense. Or so you just got to remember, you chose to be in that family, and this is what you wanted to experience. So it's very, very good for us not to be kind of judging and, have this unforgiveness for the parents, because the parents are, again, they are just dealing with their karma. We're all dealing with our karmas. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just how it is, and we just got to get on with it. Sun, obviously, the father, moon, the mother. So this is obviously also shows us how the person is in a relationship. So in a relationship, the person, we could be quite needy in a relationship, in a sense, because we're looking at the sun to provide us with all the light and wisdom. And we're not really investing in ourselves so much. We kind of maybe form very codependent relationships, in a sense. So it's very important to just be aware of that and just work. These are all clues on how we can develop and evolve as a soul, because at the end of the day, that's what our soul wants to do. We want to experience these, and it's really good to come from it, because after all, sun is intelligence. So we want to just like use that intelligence in order to broaden our horizons, learn about life, learn how our ways are, and deal with it. Now, sun-moon conjunction makes the person so very, very sensitive. They're very sensitive to any comments, particularly, if the moon is quite weak. So if this is, for example, happens, say, in Scorpio, or in a sign of Saturn, the person can be so overwhelmed with all of these feelings and just overthink things. So somebody can say something and they would never really excuse me, they're constantly judging it in their head, thinking, is that what they meant? They can overthink and make something a mountain as from a molehill, if you like, as the saying goes. So it's very, very important to realize that it's just a mind thing. Mind goes through masses, loads and loads of feelings, emotions, and, all that kind of thing. You can't give it energy. You just got to just think, oh, it's a thought, it just passes. Don't, and obviously this is quite difficult when you're young, because when you're young, you are so sensitive to how people are towards you, what they say, what they think, other people's opinions matter. As you get older, you get like a thicker skin and just kind of realize, it's fine. I can just take everything in a jest and just tackle it then and there. Don't say that, because that makes me feel, upset. Just say to people, don't overthink things. And sometimes it could just be like a banter and people didn't mean anything, didn't realize you were that sensitive. But you just also, we've got to realize when we have these conjunctions that it just means that people feel uncomfortable being around that sort of energy, because that person is you're just constantly walking on eggshells. So we need to work on ourselves to be able to get to deal with the challenges of life, because life is challenging at the end of the day. And it's much better to stop thinking and just vocalize what your thoughts are, so you can get reassurance needed. But then also, you don't want to be constantly wanting reassurance. So this is when we have to really work on ourselves and actually think, that is not that person's issue. I just need to just like just be a bit more chilled about life, and that will be so much better. So try not to be so sensitive, don't be so fragile about, and do not overthink. Just take things on the chin sometimes, you know, that's how it is, and just take it as banter and give as good as you get, you know, you learn to deal with that sort of thing. Now, this conjunction is very different in different signs. I think it's sometimes better when the sun is weaker than, like in Libra is better. But obviously, when sun is strong in Aries and moon is eclipsed by the sun, being in the same sign, so just that there's so much ego attached to the sun. It's going to be very difficult. These people, you know, so they attract people in their lives, bosses, their dad could be like that, or relationships they form are like this, where they are constantly being challenged by going for their ego, because they probably go for the status of the person, because the person has got like so and so job, so and so income, they live so and so part of the town, and so they get themselves into hot water in this situation, and where they're just out of their depth, you know. So it's, so in a sense it's better if the sun is weak. In the last video I did explain, if you have sun and moon together in a sign, it just means that you're quite new to a relationship. So again, take your time, get to know yourself first. Now, obviously, the Shukla, when the moon is ahead of the sun, it's a moon that is, although it's combust, it knows that it's freedom seeking. It wants to, because a full moon wants to experience life. You know, it's more outgoing, it's more extroverted than a Krishna or a dark moon, waning moon. So even though it's like 1 day or 1.5 days ahead of the sun, very few degrees, it's still a moon that's been purified and now wants to go and explore the world. So they are more likely to actually be grabbing the life by 2 hands and really want to live it, be more extroverted, share ideas. Whereas like a Krishna waning moon coming towards the sun is more likely to be much more introverted, shy, very sensitive, more sensitive than the Krishna one, and ponder about things. They kind of live in their mind a lot more, so they kind of need to train their mind even more to just be like, think this is just a thought, and my thoughts are not what I necessarily want to manifest. I want to manifest positivity. So this is where it comes from. So, and you know, like when somebody has got like a full moon in there, like for example, Donald Trump, I give you that. Donald Trump was born on an eclipse. His moon is debilitated sign. It's not debilitated because it's past the 3 degrees. But his moon is in Scorpio in his 4th house. So it's got directional strength. So that moon is not weak by any means whatsoever. And his sun is in the 10th house. So the sun has got directional strength. So that sun is by no means weak. So he loves his homeland. You know, his mum is very, very protective of his family. So therefore, he is, if he can find something that works and works well for his family, for himself, for his business, blah blah blah, he will be wanting to share it because he wants other people to enjoy it. If his moon was dark, say if sun and moon were both together in Scorpio, he wouldn't be like that. He wouldn't want to share because he would just be thinking, keeping everything to himself, being more introverted. That's how he will be. I mean, that was probably not very, but that's the only person I could think at that time. But so you can see, so if your moon is combust by the sun, but it's in your 4th house, then even if it's in a debilitation sign for a Leo ascendant, for example, as we just said, is still, you know, with the sun. If it is together with the sun, that sun is weaker than the moon because moon had got directional strength, but they're both in friendly sign. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So the sign matters a lot. So if this is occurring in Saturn or Venus signs, then it will be quite more difficult. So in Libra, obviously very difficult for the sun. If it is like, but generally speaking, neither of them get on that easily in Venus or Saturn signs. But moon doesn't like being in Mercury signs either. So if it's Mercury is in the sign, they're in Mercury signs, sun will be stronger. So if it occurs in Virgo or Gemini, then Sun is strong and Moon is really weak. So this just is, you know, so it's better if the Moon is strong, stronger than, like, Moon will be stronger than the Sun in Libra, because Sun will be debilitated. So these are the things that you want to just bear in mind. If it occurs in Taurus, Moon will be stronger because Moon will be exalted. So these are examples of that. So generally speaking, as a conjunction, it's a little bit difficult for sure, but it's just something that, you know, your soul wanted. This is, you know, we are here to develop and experience our soul's desires. So if that is what your soul wanted to learn, this is what you have to go through. And instead of thinking about it as a negative thing, it's really good to actually think, how do I, you know, because the moon that is actually is Krishna moon, waning moon, is what's happening with that is very, very spiritual. So through just being and, like, really, you know, just meditating and being with the divine feminine, you really literally dissolve all those feelings of fragility and pain that you're feeling. So you actually learn to cope with that, and you can put it in better use, if you like. So you can, what I would say is a really good remedy for this is actually helping mothers who, you know, going through difficult times. As before, never give money to charities, do the deed. Go and actually physically help them. So if they need some milk for their child, if they, you know, like, for example, if, you know, if there's an aunt or something who's just had a child and she's got the blues, you know, post labor issues, you know, just spend time with them. Give up your time. That will be the best way to actually rectify this issue. And in relationships, just make sure that you have boundaries in place, because these people can also have no boundaries in place in relationships. So the person they're in relationship with, they just think that, well, they're okay with this, they're okay with that. I went out with my friends Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They didn't say anything, so they're okay with this. So you just got to just say, you know, to the man in your life, or, you know, that, you know, I really like it when you're at home with me. Why don't we book a time in, you know, and have some time together? Right, saying it like that, rather than saying, oh, you were out Monday, you were out Tuesday. You know, don't nag. You know, because men like to be respected. So just say, you know, and when they do something that you really enjoy, let them know, because the man would want to do it even more. That's it from me. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.